Okay, everyone, welcome. And we're just going to be getting started here in just a minute. So we are currently broadcasting live now onto YouTube. So for those of you who are watching this now on YouTube, if you want to join in and ask Adronis questions, you won't be able to do it through the YouTube chat. You'll need to go to Zoom. Okay, so you'll find pinned to the top of the chat is the link for Zoom. Okay, so for those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you want to join in on Zoom and ask Adronis questions, just click on that link there and you'll be able to do it. For everybody else that's here, thank you so much for being here today. Welcome. We're going to have another great presentation today with Adronis. So our session today is going to be about 90 minutes in length. So we'll be finished here before 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Just a reminder for all of you who are on Zoom right now, if you want to ask questions through a text-based chat, then just make sure you're clicking on the Q&A button and you can add your text chat there, your question to Adronis by text through the Q&A button. Otherwise, Killian will come through now. And Killian, if you want to pop on screen, and you can just let people know about audio-based questions if you like.
Hello, yes. So when you go ahead and raise your hand, just make sure to remember, I will announce that I'm going to allow you to speak, and then you will just have to unmute your microphone, and then you'll be, I'll let you go through, and we'll go ahead and do that. Keep in mind, if you do have audio issues, I will wait probably about 30 to 45 seconds, and then we'll move on. And if you can get those issues solved, we'll come back to you. Just communicate with me in the chat, and I'll make sure to adjust as necessary. Thank you.
Great, sounds good. All right, thank you, Kellen. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're just going to do a brief meditation first, and then we're going to get right into the Adronis communication. So first and foremost, I would just invite everybody just to join me. Get yourself nice and relaxed, making sure the spine is nice and straight. We're just going to do some heart rate variability breathing, and then we're going to do some Hakalau. Okay, and then we'll get right into today's presentation with Adronis. So with your spine nice and straight, we're going to breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, breathing out through the nose for 6 seconds as well. Okay, so taking a deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And now just opening your eyes, I want you just to take your index fingers just like this, kind of like you're making a big L with them. And we're just going to slowly start to move them apart until we see both index fingers in the edges of our peripheral vision. So your index finger on the left, just hovering on the left edge of your peripheral. The index finger on your right, just hovering at the edge of your peripheral vision as you're looking forward. And as you're looking forward, I want you just to be aware of the 2 index fingers that are in your peripheral vision here and now. Just be aware of them now. Okay, we'll drop the fingers down. And now I just want you to find 2 edges of the peripheral. So as you look ahead, create a little marker of where you feel, okay, well, maybe the edge of my windowsill here is the left side edge of my peripheral vision, and there's a lamp here on the right side, and that would be the edge of my peripheral vision. And I want you just to, again, look forward, but you're being aware of the edges of your peripheral. Now I want you to go into your hearing. I want you to take in everything that you're hearing right now. Be aware of the sounds in your space. And now I want you to take in everything that you're breathing, everything that you're smelling. Be aware of your breath and be aware of what you're taking into the sense of smell here and now. And now I want you to take in everything that you are touching, everything that you are touching and everything that is touching you. Being aware of what your skin is touching here and now. And now I want you to be aware of everything that you are tasting. Be aware of everything that you are tasting here and now. And now I want you to combine all 5 senses together, everything that you see, smell, taste, touch, and hear, all at once, right here, right now. And taking a deep breath in, and deep breath out. Okay, so that is the Hakelau exercise. That's just helping you stay completely in tune with your awareness. That's helping silence the mind, getting yourself into an open, receptive, and of course, parasympathetic nervous system, low idle state. Great. So now that we have done that, I think we're all ready to go. I think we're all set here to go ahead and bring Adronis in for today's transmission. So again, thank you everybody on Zoom. Thank you everybody on YouTube, again, who is tuning in. Looking forward to another great presentation with Adronis today. So again, Adronis will come through, he'll give his brief introduction, and then Adronis will cue Killian. Then Killian will lead in moderation the question and answer period for Adronis. So again, we just have till 12:30. So I will go ahead now and take a moment and connect with Adronis, and we will begin. Here we go. And enjoy the transmission. Gotta get comfortable first, that's important. Okay, here we go. Hera, Soul Star, Sirius, Adronis. We are here at this time. We bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I'm Adronis of Serious Stunning Love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations that we are providing through the star of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share this moment in your time. We also wish for you to understand that everything that we shall provide is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. we will speak in elaboration to the idea of the current state of humanity, the current state of the earth at this time. So as many of you are always in the state of curiosity, for there is not a single human being who we have not met that is not in that way deeply curious about the idea of themselves, about the idea of the earth, about all of the events that are taking place upon the earth. And Adronis, why is this happening? Why am I coming into this particular point of time right now on the earth in this particular era, in the way where humanity feels like it's so very much confused? It feels like it's just falling apart at the seams. It feels like there's so much insanity that's going on a daily basis. Why in the word am I here on such a planet, in such a time, in such a way? Why is this taking place? Because this is exactly what you have wanted to experience. And what we mean by that is that it is through these particular times relating to intensity, relating to everything that the earth herself is going through, regarding agendas that are intense, that are confusing, that are deep, that are so deeply dramatic. It is bringing out the best in each of you. Well, Adronis, how can you say that? Because I feel like I'm an emotional wreck. I feel like I have all of this mentality of stress, this emotion of worry and anxiety, and anger as well too. And you're saying that this is bringing out the best in me? Exactly. Because you are seeing through yourself what the type of world it is that you would like to be a part of by you reacting to the world that you know is not the world that you want to be a part of. So by you reacting in this way, by you feeling that you're emotionally tense, you're mentally bewildered, you're feeling in that sense this despair, you're feeling unsettled by the world, you're feeling unsettled by people, you're feeling unsettled by the events taking place on this planetary sphere, that it's helping you to see a lot more of who you really are. In order for you to know who you are, you must firstly understand what you are not. And that's what you're bringing about in, shall we say, flying colors of intrigue and intensity and curiosity. These flying colors that are just spewing out of you, where you feel that all of these things just don't feel right. Nothing feels right on this planet. Nothing feels natural on this planet to the way that humanity is conducting itself. So how in the heck could you say, Adronis, to me, that this is actually the best thing that can happen to me? Because you're realizing what you're holding on to. You're realizing what is causing you pain. You're realizing what's causing you to suffer. You're realizing what is bringing about these reactions through you, so that you can see them for what they are, and so that you can remedy them. You see, the only thing that's missing is your ability to remedy these issues. Whereas instead, many upon the planet just keep reacting to things. They keep reacting to the problems that they're going through. They keep reacting to the scale, where they feel they're bouncing up and down because of this, oh, because of finances, oh, because of the government, oh, because of politics, oh, because of my home, oh, because of my neighbors, oh, because of my family, my friends, so on and so forth. You just keep reacting to things, but you're already seeing exactly through your reactions what needs to go through you, because you know that that's not the real. Everything you react to is not the real of yourself. It is the sputum. It is the veil. It is the falsehood. It is the separate self, representing everything that you're reacting to, and you're not seeing it. You just keep reacting. This person did this to me. This situation is happening here, and this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. And rather than the idea of looking into resolution, you complain, because you're coming from a place of hurt. You still identify with the world because you have forgotten who and what you truly are. We have told you all that you are gods. We have told you all that the planet Earth really is a God school. It is a God world, and that it trains gods. You're all gods in training. That's really what you are. But you have forgotten this. And you still look at the world in a separation state, thinking that you are everything that this world is. You feel that you are separation consciousness. You feel that you are your problems. You are your troubles. You are your hurt. And we're telling you right now, you're just recognizing everything that's on top of you that you know is not the true, real you. But rather than being able to address that and to resolve that, you stay in the confines of reaction. And that's what's causing you pain. You see, you're never going to really know why you decide to come and incarnate here if all you're doing is just reacting to everything all the time. Because you're reacting to the service of life. The surface is something that you're constantly skiing upon. It's like you're skiing or you're skating across the surface of life because all you're doing is reacting to everything. As long as you react to everything, you will only ever be able to touch the surface of life. And touching the surface of life is what we call survival, because that's all you've been doing, is you're just skimming along the surface. Reaction here, reaction there, reaction here, reaction there. And you don't even bother to look at the idea of how you can resolve those reactions because you are so confined in the idea of surface-based survival that you cannot know why you're here. Because when you actually start to penetrate past the surface and you go into the core of yourself, you will know exactly why. But this is why we say that when you're reacting this way, this is a very good thing. You're half of the way there. The other half is being able to see this for what it is, realize it's not who you really are, and therefore being able to surrender to it and to let it go. Do you do that? Well, we will say the majority of you don't, because you stay in the dramatic cycles. It's like running a wheel, and you keep running the wheel. At any moment, you can hop off the wheel. You can hop off the wheel and you can feel at peace, but you don't. You keep running. You keep running, you keep running until you exhaust yourself. And even when you're collapsing, you're still going around the wheel. And you don't feel you can get off this wheel when in fact, there's the exit right beside you. There's the exit right beside you, but you don't take it. You think you have to keep running this wheel. And that's why you suffer. Because you keep reacting to life. You keep reacting to life that you have painted as a survival program. You're in trance, you're in hypnosis. You are basically conditioned to feel like you need to keep running this hamster wheel every single moment that passes throughout your day, not realizing that at any moment you can get off the wheel. How do I get off the wheel, Adronis? You need to see what you're doing. You need to see what you're putting your energy into. Realize that's not who you are and let it go. Surrender and release. Very much like what Brad has been teaching you for quite some time. That's all it takes. There's nothing to it. But you're too involved in the stories of planet Earth. You're too involved in your affairs. You're too involved with your family. You're too involved with your friendships. You're too involved with your career. You're too involved with your money and your bank accounts. You're too involved with your worldly events, your worldly agendas. You're concerned about what everybody else is doing. You don't even give yourself a chance to focus on you. And as long as you continue to do that, you stay stuck. You feel trapped. You feel like there's just this glue on this wheel that's keeping you there when in fact there is no glue. You're able to step off it just like that. And so a reminder to you is that you will truly know why you're here when you get off the rat race of life. When you stop surviving and you decide to live. You will know exactly why you're here on this planet, exactly why you're here at this time, exactly why you're here on this particular world. You'll know it all because you're giving time to yourself to get to know who you are, past all the dramas, past all the intensities, past all of the despair, emotionally, mentally, even physically. You'll be able to know who you are because you're learning to surrender and you're learning to let go. What is truly superficial? Everything that is superficial is that which is impermanent, which does not last, which is everything pertaining to matter, which is everything pertaining to time and to space, which is everything pertaining to your own emotions, pertaining to thought. It's all you. It's all you think you are. But when you get off that and you realize that all that remains is me as pure consciousness, now you're understanding. Now you're going into the core of yourself to know that you are spirit, to know that you are consciousness, to know that this is who you truly are. That is what's going to make the change. And that is only what we're here to do, is help you to remind you of how simple it is to get off the wheel, to realize who you are, and you will have all the answers you could ever ask for. But if you think that you're going to get the answers out here, you are surely mistaken. Can only be in here, and it's only when you penetrate beyond the surface and you come into the core of your own natural being. All right, we thank you very much. We will now open the floor to Killian. Thank you, Killian. Feel free to conduct your question and answer period as you wish, and we will await questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Adronis, and thank you for that introduction. We're going to bring it over to some of the written questions first, and then we'll move on to those who wish to speak. We're going to start with an anonymous attendee. This is a bit of a long one, so bear with me. Could you comment or tell us about a lady by the name of Kimberly Ann Gaugen, who says she is ground commander for planet Earth and that she sits on the Universal Council? She says that she is presently working with helpers from other planets and star systems to liberate and restore planet Earth. They are supposed to be systematically taking down the Cabal and destroying all systems in ways that the Cabal has controlled mankind over the past 250,000 years. She says that she is presently in charge of a global monetary repository and has introduced a key integrated monetary system, which in essence replaces and changes the entire banking system as we know it for the betterment of the people. She has great plans to ensure that the basic needs of every single human being will be taken care of, including free healthcare coverage, and suppressed medical interventions will be utilized going forward. Infrastructure will be fixed and improved, and new technologies will be rolled out. Is this all true?
All right. So let's calm down a little bit, because now here's the idea. Brad does not like to speak personally about other people. We understand that, and we also respect that as well. We're mostly just going to comment on the situation here. This is what happens when people in that sense get a little too high up in regards to what they feel they are capable of receiving pertaining to contacts. When they look at these things, they get over bloated. And you basically feel like you need to put all your power into this one person. It really is no more different than looking at a president of the United States or a world leader in that particular way. You see, again, it all just comes through different sides. Always comes through the idea that there needs to be some type of appointed leader who's going to give you everything that you need. What we would suggest when you look at things like this is to look at it with discernment, because it is not about a person here to save you. It's the same with us. We're not here to save any of you. We're not here to look after any of you. We're not here to give you any of these promises. We're only here to help you understand who you are. When you have a person who feels like they're going to take care of everything, they're battling a cabal, they're going to try and bring out free technology, they're going to try and end a war of slavery that has lasted 250,000 years, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. What do you see when you hear such a person? You hear that person want to appease you because they want power. And that's what they desire. When you look at the education behind what a person is actually saying, when you look at that true nature, you realize that this is a person who, again, does not even really know what they do. And that's the truth of the matter. They are, in that sense, either consciously or subconsciously, looking to have people to praise them, looking to have people giving them their power because they are giving you hope. And it's not just through this person. It's through many upon your planet that are doing this, even your world leaders, that they will promise you the entire moon and back as long as you give them your power. This is something that humanity has been dealing with for many thousands of years. You see a person who's very charismatic. You see a person who's very strong and determined with willpower, and that you want to follow that person because their charisma speaks for themselves. Just because one is charismatic doesn't mean that one is going to take care of you. And as soon as you feel like you need to be taken care of and that you need to put all of your power into another, thinking that you don't have to do anything, you have become a slave. That's what it does. So we want you to look at the language pertaining to this question. This is your homework. This is what happens when you see a person who basically wants power. They want that energy from you, and they want you to give that power to them so that they feel like they are getting this rush and saying, well, look at all these people. Now I can get money off them. Now I can get resources off them. I can do all these things. They're all now basically my servants. That's what happens. This is something that's been occurring with your species for thousands of years. And of course, it's all part of programs that you have within yourselves that have been embedded within yourselves for a very long time. These are slave programs. And the slave program is basically telling you, don't do anything other than give your power to me and I'll take care of everything. That's what your entire government is based off of. Your entire government is based off such things. Give us your power. We'll take care of everything. You don't have to do anything, and just stand aside and give us your silent obedience. That is what we would call slave programming 101. Do you hear what we're saying? Everything that you basically heard from that question is slave programming 101. It does not matter the idea of feeling, oh, but Adronis, they want to help the world. They want to defeat the cabal. They want to do this and they want to do that. Yes, but that is no more better than the idea of a cabal that basically wants to have your obedience and have your power so that they can meet to their own ends, because that's what they require. Without any of that power, they have nothing. The same goes with this person. Without your power, they have nothing. Do you see what we're saying here? This is what you have to learn to dissect. You have to cut through these things. Anytime you see a person who feels like they need to put on a hero costume and be a messiah and feel like they have to take care of everything for you, that is where there needs to be a raised eyebrow. Because you're being fooled, because you're being deceived. As we stated, that is not at all what we're here to do. In fact, the majority of the alliances that we are in association with have no interest whatsoever in looking after humanity at all. We love you, but we're not here to do these things for you. You are more than capable of taking care of these matters yourselves because you are learning to be empowered beings. That's why you've continued to move forward in this way, century after century, millennia after millennia, because you are growing and you are maturing, and you're eventually going to come to the point and saying, excuse me, no, I don't need that kind of conversation. I don't need to give my power away to a person, or thinking that this person's responsible for everything, or this person's responsible for our safety, or this person's going to give us all of these wonderful resources and so forth. This is what you call slave programming 101. That's what we can share regarding that statement, all right?
Thank you, Adronis. And thank you, anonymous attendee, for your question. We go now to Sharon, who asks, hello, Adronis. I have a question. I've been having a therapy session with bioagronomy energy healer. She told me that she sees that I have an energy blockage. So how do I find what the blockage is, and how do I overcome that blockage? Thanks, Sharon.
How do you react to the idea of having a blockage? And when you look at the idea of a blockage, again, obviously the idea of the healer is that they may give you a little bit more specificity pertaining to that blockage. So it's no more different than you coming to us and us saying, oh, you have a blockage and that's it. Well, that's not really going to help you, is it? So this is where you want to be more aware of what you're feeling you're holding on to. All right. So as we feel into you, you have in that sense a great deal of wanting hope. You have a great deal in that sense of feeling like someone needs to step in to help you and fix you because you don't feel you're capable of fixing yourself. You don't feel like you're able to reorient yourself. So a lot of it is a lack of trust upon yourself. A lot of it in that sense is shame principles upon yourself. You feel ashamed in many different ways because you feel you've let yourself down. And so where there's that shame and there's that mistrust, there's that feeling of self-abuse. And that's what you need to look into a lot more. So Brad has already created very free practices for you that is available on his particular channel. One of them is called the release ball method. Yes. So we would suggest that you're looking into those practices and you're working to surrender. So if what we have shared with you rings a bell, yes, I don't feel I trust myself. I feel like I'm trying to get other people to come in and take care of these things because I feel like I'm impaired. I don't know what I'm doing, and somebody else has the answer and can fix me because I don't know how. And because you don't feel you know how, it's because you've turned yourself away from you. You've shunned yourself away from you. And that's what we call self-abuse. You don't feel secure in trusting yourself to be able to take care of yourself. And that's where, again, you suffer. So the key here is being able to look upon yourself because no one's going to resolve your remedies but you. Cannot be done by anybody else. There is nobody else. There's only you. Everything you talk to, everyone you talk to is simply reflections of you. So you need to put this into your own hands. So yes, there are simple practices that are available that Brad offers, but it's a matter of you being able to do them. It's about you being able to have the trust in yourself to take care of these matters and moving to that next level where you're surrendering, where you're releasing, just as we talked at the beginning of this transmission about the ability to surrender and getting off the wheel. So that's a hint we can give you in that particular direction. And would suggest you look into this a lot more. You're working with something like the release ball. You're learning how to surrender because you're placing everything that you feel represents your reactions into that ball, letting go, surrender, 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 until you feel it completely gone. You're checking with yourself, it's gone. You're free of it. And all it took was your ability to move out of your sabotaging personality, to moving out of the body, to moving out of the mind and seeing yourself completely as pure consciousness, as pure awareness. That's who you are. That's what you are. And that's what you need to be one with because you already are. You just don't know that you are. It's a veil telling you, I'm not God, I'm not spirit, I'm not pure consciousness, I'm not awareness. That's what you're telling yourself constantly. I'm just a human being and I have mistakes and I'm imperfect and I'm this and I'm that. It's no more different than a living God coming down upon your planet, deciding to incarnate, knowing that he or she is a living God, and decides to incarnate as a rat. And that rat is doing all of its rat-like things. It's having a rat-like family. But through that rat, through its awareness, it is always being talked to. You realize that you're a living God, right? What are you talking about? I'm a rat. I'm a rat. I need to go back into my hole. I need to go back into my dwelling. I need to take care of my family. And it continues to be talked to over and over and over again until it realizes that it is actually a God. It loses everything in its life. It is nearly at the level of starvation until the voice says, when you leave your body, you will know that you are a living God. The rat passes away. And as soon as that mighty deity comes out of the body, he, she remembers him, herself. How did that happen? Had to leave the shell of the illusion that was telling that entity that it was a rat. Because that's all you're doing with yourselves. You keep telling yourself you're the shell of a human body. You're this human form and that you're only human, and you have forgotten your godliness. Because we're telling every single one of you that you are God. Very few of you actually believe us. At best, you may say, yeah, I know, I've heard about that, but you're still identified to the human condition. You think you're this bipedal organic machine. You do not know your godliness. Even though it's what you are, you've forgotten it. You have amnesia. And it's not until you learn to step out of the body and to step out of the personality to which you think that you're only human, to which you're going to realize your godliness again. And so a simple practice like this to helping you surrender and release and let go is going to give you that hint, that remembrance of who you really are. Because we see you as you are. But the problem is you don't see it. And that's where you feel stuck. So work with the ability to surrender, and that will end all of your problems. All of it. Because you surrender to all of it. You let it all go. You're not fighting with fire here anymore. You're not picking up a sword and a shield, thinking that I have to keep fighting. And all you're really doing is trying to fight for an illusion, to think that you're just a human body and nothing else. And that's you running the wheel. Hop off the wheel and liberate yourself. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for your question. We're going to do one more written question, then we'll move on to those who wish to speak. We move now to Karen, who has 2 questions. First, she says, we have free choice on Earth. What does it mean to not have a free choice, and who doesn't have one, and are they aware of it?
You do not have free choice. You have will. That's the nature of you. Choice is nothing but a thought. Let us give you an example. We would ask you to think of your kitchen. Think of it now. Then we would ask you to think of your bathroom. So what have you thought of? Killian, what have you thought of when we say that?
My kitchen and my bathroom.
All right. Now, those are 2 choices, are they not?
Yes.
So if we would say, go to your kitchen or your bathroom, Killian, which would you choose?
I would go to my bathroom.
All right. So guess what you did, Killian? You decided, you didn't choose. There's no such thing as choice. Choice is just a thought. It's nothing else. So we could give you 20 different thoughts. Oh, here's my car in the parking lot. Here's where I could go to the grocery store. Here's where I could walk into my bedroom and lay down on the bed. Here's where I could do this. Here's where I could do that. That doesn't matter. You have never had free choice. You have never had free will, because that's all free will is it's representing choice. Choice is the very reason why you're confused. Choice is, in that sense, helping you to see that all you're really doing is looking at an assortment of thoughts, because you've never really decided on those thoughts, and they remain as empty choices. They are the paths of roads not taken, and they're irrelevant. The only thing that truly is your ability to decide. Just as Killian said, when we gave him the 2 options of the thoughts, here's your kitchen, here's your bathroom. Killian says, I'm going to the bathroom. Was there ever choice involved? No, not at all. Killian already made his decision to go to the washroom. You see, there's no intersecting of the roads here. You're not looking to feel like all the choices you have to make, because that's not how it works. You have never had free will. You have never had choice. You have only ever had decisive will. Your ability to decide is what makes your life what it is. You have only ever taken one road in sequence. I'm going to go to the grocery store. You go. I'm going to go ahead and get groceries. You do it. I leave the grocery shop and I come back to my home. You do it. Was there any choices in between those decisions pertaining to action? Not one. So why do you think you have free choice when you've never experienced choice? You don't have choice. You have decision. You have decisive will. Everything leads to one particular path. Yes, there's curves. Yes, there's ups and there's downs. There's lefts and there's rights. But you have never experienced free will. You have never experienced choice, because those are nothing but thoughts. They do not pertain to action. And what you are experiencing is connotating the nature of your action for you to grow. You could sit on your couch all day and think of 1,000 thoughts. None of that is going to help you to grow, because there's no action orientation behind it. That is what you call the running of your karma. Karma is action oriented. It is not thought oriented. It is not the idea of you sitting on your couch having 1,000 thoughts about what you could ponder where there's no experience behind them. That does not justify a free will principle. That's nothing but free thinking. You see, you don't have free will, you have free thought, because you're thinking about all these things, but you don't even experience what you think about. In fact, the thousands of thoughts that you have in your head each day, the great majority of them are never even sought out. They're never applied by action. They're just filling up your head with all of these different ideas of choices. You're in your head, as many of you say to each other. You're just in your head. You're just filling yourself up with all these thoughts, and you do none of them. That does not relate to choice. It's the idea of decisive will. You have will power. Your will always is non-binary, right? You do not have a binary will. It doesn't work that way. It is always non-binary. Taking a step here, that's the end of one sequence. Another sequence begins, you follow that. 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 And this is the road that you're paving. It's not about all these branches here. That only exists through thought. But it's your actions that matter. That's what karma is. It's action. It's not thought. But thinking about all these things that you're not doing, that you're not applying. You have never experienced free will. You only have will. You only have the decisiveness, the actions that make something happen. That's the quality that you hold. That's the difference. All right. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. And the second part of that question is, if only I exist, there was no one else but reflections of me, then who is humanity? And who are the 8 billion people Adronis refers to as humanity? Thank you.
You don't exist. That's the point we're trying to make. None of you exist. You simply are. This is the whole idea of where all of you are so incredibly confused, because you think you exist. You think you're some type of entity that has come into being. And then that's the nature of yourself, and that is a lie. You have never existed. None of you exist, ever. You are beingness. You always are. Everything you're playing with is material. It's no more different than going into a sandbox and you building all of these sand figurines. Do they exist? Well, it's because of me that they exist. But no, they're not the truth. I'm the only truth. This is what we're seeing. When you're looking at reflections, you're looking at all of the material externals that you are realizing you are able to interact with. You're playing a game. If we told you to go to your favorite video game console and put on a game and turn on the power and watch the game come to life on the screen, would we say to you then, is that game that you're seeing right now real? Because that's what we would say to you. Is that real what's on the screen right now? No, of course not. It's just a game, which means I can turn it on and I can turn it off. It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. It can be turned off. It can be turned on. It can be paused. It can be unpaused. I can create this character. I can go through this world. I can interact with others. Is that the real world? No. So why do you think this is? Because it's exactly the same. It's you playing a character. You're portraying this character that you feel is helping you in a particular way to realize that you are an infinite being. Because you're only playing this game because you have forgotten who and what you truly are. And this game is trying to tell you, if you learn to go within, if you turn off the game for a little bit and you go within yourself and you realize who you are, the game's not really going to interest you anymore because you're done playing with the game. You realize that this is not who I really am, and realize that I can turn off the game and I'm spending more time with myself. I'm putting the controller down. So when you're thinking that you exist, that represents a property of believing that you have been brought into being. You haven't. You're wearing a garment, and that's it. That's like an actor going into his wardrobe and putting on a king's crown. He's putting on a beautiful king's robe. He's wearing all this beautiful royalty garment and believing that he's a king. And he portrays that role beautifully. He speaks like a king. He walks like a king. He acts like a king. But that's just a character. What is he at the end of the day? Well, his name is Bob. And so Bob takes off all of the clothing that he has royally placed upon himself and realizes that he's Bob again. That's all you're doing. You're all putting on garments. You're putting on personality garments, believing that you're the personality. You're looking at all other people upon the planet and believing that they are separate people from you. And that is you playing a game. That is you playing an illusion. Because if you do not see the one, you do not see yourself. You cannot see yourself if you do not see the union. All you're seeing is diversity and separation, and you have bought into the game. You do not know who you are. There is no other. There is no existence. There's only you. The existence you speak of is you playing with the wardrobe. It's you playing in the sandbox. It's you playing the video game. Thinking that there's all these people and we're all separate from each other and we're all just trying to survive. Everything you're looking into is nothing but a conjecture. It is nothing but a contriving. It is nothing but a manifestation. A magician rolling up their sleeves, playing with their magic. Because none of this is who and what you are. So you ask about, well, what about all these people in my life, Adronis? They're you. They're all extensions of you. All vibrational alignments that you have brought forward in your life to help you understand more of yourself. It's all part of the game of playing the game. It's part of the dreamer playing with the dream within the dream. It's all God's dream. That's what this represents. Just like you go to sleep at night and you have all these different dreams and they feel so real to you, but as soon as you wake up, oh, that was an interesting dream. I've come back into my woken life and now I need to move on. You've dismissed the idea that that dream has any warranting of meaning to yourself. You've been able to shrug it right off and go beyond that and continue on with your day. It's the exact same thing when you leave this life. Oh, that was an interesting experience. Now I move on. Now I'm seeing more of who and what I truly am. And who and what I truly am is the infinite. The finite is just everything that represents the mind. We're not saying it's a bad thing, but that's your tool. That's your construct. That's what you're working as a device to helping you understand more of who and what you truly are by firstly looking at what you're not. And everybody else plays a role. Just like you have your massive multiplayer online role-playing games, everybody tunes into a server and everybody has their own character. But you are bringing in these particular characters that represent a certain magnetic coherency to yourselves. It's a magnetic string. And you're bringing each other in because there's magnetic coherency in regards to how you're interacting with each other. But it's all part of the game. Just like your RPGs, that's all the Earth is. It's a role-playing game. You're here to play a role. You're here to play a game. You're here to learn how to be God, even though you already are. You see, that's the interesting irony. That's the irony behind all incarnation. God coming in, pretending that they are not God, to then realize that they are God again. That's the reason why you're playing. You want to understand how the infinite and the finite can come together, and you're the bridge in the middle. God knows nothing of the finite mind. The mind knows nothing of the infiniteness of God. That's why you come in, because you're the bridge between the two. You're bringing the infinite and the finite together to know that there is only one. That's why you're here. That's what the whole nature of this stage is about. You're all coming in through the same server. You're all playing the similar kind of characters because you're bringing each other into each other's lives. You're sharing each other's lives to helping you understand you're all one. And that's really what it comes down to. All right. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Adronis, for that very insightful answer. We move now to those who want to ask questions speaking to Adronis. Gail, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. If you just want to go ahead, or I'm going to allow you to speak. If you want to go ahead and unmute your microphone, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Give me just one moment. Okay, I apologize. It seems that Brad may have made me a panelist as opposed to a co-host, so I cannot unmute people.
One moment, please. One moment, please. Let me go ahead and fix that for you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's on me. That's on me. There we go. Okay, you're good to go now.
Perfect.
All right,
Thank
just give me a moment. Let me just bring him back in. 1 minute. We are here. Please feel free to continue.
Thank you. Gail, I'm now going to allow you to talk. Just remember to unmute your microphone and begin speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Killian. Hello, Adronis.
Hello, Gail.
So, yeah, you brought it up again about I'm the only one here. It's just in the dream.
We would say in an appropriate way, all of you are the only one here.
So there's more?
No, all that is the one. So all is one is all. You see, whatever we consider to be all is not the truth, but we utilize that because your thinkingness tells you that there is the all, when in fact there is only the one.
Okay, so
what you think and what you are two different things.
Okay, so my question was, I listen to music. Wherever I go, I put the music on and I'm listening to all these bands. I mean, it's great music. Where are these, like the Beatles, the Who, Jethro Tull, all these bands that Led Zeppelin, they made great music. Where did the music come from?
Well, it came from yourselves. It comes from what you would know as your own divine intelligence. It's the intelligence that brings everything to life. It is God. So you would say that it's not the Beatles, it's God. You would say it's not Led Zeppelin, it's God. You would say it is not these famous opera singers, it's God. It's not Mozart, it's God. You see, everything is God, as we have stated. It is God dreaming God's dream, to which you are all a part of, the all as the one. When you see the union, when you see the unity, you know God. When you see the separation, you have forgotten that you are God.
And so when I am, me and my eternal soul are together. I mean, we are one.
Well, there's not really me and my eternal soul. There's just you as the soul.
You as the soul. Okay.
Who is me? Me is just the ego.
Okay, the I
That's
am.
like you looking at your shadow and saying, "Oh, that's me right there." That's just a shadow. That's an absence of light. That's not you at all.
Okay, so I am one with.
You are. You are.
I one. So you coming in is that me wearing an Adronis face?
Yes.
Adronis.
In a manner of speaking, yes. It just represents the reflection of all of your externals. So you would see us as an external. You see Brad here, yes. You see his body here. You see him talking, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that is your external. That's a piece of your clothing. That's like, again, Joe putting on the king's uniform and believing that he is the royal king. It's all of these externals that represent him, telling him, oh, you're the king. This is who you're portraying, because his manifestations through thought is making that happen. His actions are making that happen. As we stated, there's no free will. There's just will.
Okay, so is there, but you always said, I'm not supposed to worry about the.
You see, the whole idea is that the analytical mind will never understand this, because what is it that the analytical mind cannot do, Gail? What can't it do?
Be God?
Yes, because it doesn't know the infinite. Only God knows the infinite. You see, God knows nothing of the finite mind, because that's all the mind is. It's finiteness, its thoughts, its emotions, its feelings, its sensations. It's a construct that is all about those things. And it looks at things that come and go. It represents things that are here and then expire, here and then expire. But see, God never expires. God is. So that's where you come into play. You are the bridge between the mind and God, so that God knows the mind through you, and so that you know God through the mind as the bridge.
Okay, but there are others besides me, right? There are other souls.
We have told you there are no others.
Oh, it's just
everyone is one. When you see the union, you know God. When you see separation, you do not know God.
Okay.
You need to get out of this mindset of thinking, oh, well, there's my mom, there's my dad, there's my brother, there's my sister. Yes, but they're all you.
Right. I don't do that. When I see them, I say, oh, that's just a version of what I believe that they are.
No, it's not a version of what you think they are. They're you.
They are me. Oh.
As we said, it's like the king's clothes, extensions of himself that he is putting on. And again, therefore, the people in your life are the extensions of yourself that you're putting on yourself to help you understand yourself.
So just go out and enjoy everything.
Yes, to know that everything is one.
Okay.
To know that everything is unity, that everything is God. It's all God. There's never anything within the mind that is not God. There's never anything within all of creation that is not God. The manifest and the unmanifest are God. It's all God. This is God's dream that God is dreaming, to which you are all a part of God's dream. It's an illusion of believing and thinking that you're all separate. There's no such thing as separation. That is all part of the convenience of the illusion. That's the Maya. That's what comes and goes. That which is infinite should never be able to expire. So why are things expiring? Because you're playing with the mind, because that's how it's built. But when you look into the idea of the true nature of the infinite, there is no mind, because the mind just envelops itself back into the self. because that's where it came from in the first place. The mind is nothing but a construct. It is the externalization of God. But see, God as an infinite being cannot go into the finite. That's why you're here, to incarnate, to play with the mind, to get the realization that there's a bridge being built between the finite self and the infinite, so that they come together as one, and you're the mediator in between that. Everything that you believe the mind is not the real. The only thing that's real is the infinite. It is without form. It is without image. It is without a face. It is without an object. The only thing that's real is the infinite.
Where does AI come in, the artificial intelligence?
What is AI? Explain it.
Artificial intelligence.
What does that mean?
Something that wants to believe it's God and trying to be God, but
what do you mean that it wants to? Does it have a desire of its own?
Yeah, AI is like the agendas that you're saying this.
Does it have a desire, a will of its own?
No, it's just artificial intelligence.
Then all you're looking at is a contraption. All you're looking at, again, is an external. You're looking at something that is in the mind. Does the AI exist beyond the mind?
No.
Then what are you concerned about? You're still looking at something. See, your mind's not able to compute what we're saying. It goes back and says, oh, Jonas, what about this? What about that? You're listing off all these things that can be identified. Anything that you identify as the finite. You see? AI this, or this extraterrestrial being here, or humanity here, or the earth here, etc. These are all things. You're talking about props. Where do props exist in the mind? Because they're finite things. They come and go, they come and go, they come and go. That's not what we're talking about. You can explore all the facets of the mind if you wish, because there's an infinite amount. But everything in regards to that infinite amount within the mind always exists finitely, because they're things. A thing is like a shell. It's a form. It cannot evolve itself past that form. It is what it is through the manifestation of the thought that brought it into being. That which is brought into being is the mind. It is not God, because God has never been brought into being. God is. And that's what we're saying to all of you as one. You are. Is this making sense to you?
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. So anything you identify within the mind is the mind. Anything that you feel is a construct, a form, a shell, an object is the mind, because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. God does not. And that is who you all are. For you to know that is to go within and to know that. So that you know, not without, not within, but as is, you know that you are the infinite. All right? Thank you for your question. Questions?
Thank you, Gail. We move along now to Val, and I would like to remind everybody that we have about just under 30 minutes. So please keep your questions concise so that we can be mindful of others who also wish to ask questions. Val, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Go ahead and speak when you are ready. Thank you.
Hi, Adronis.
Hello, Val.
How are you?
We are perfect. How are you?
I'm perfect because I am God.
Yes. You see how you're understanding that now. Not even really an understanding, but just a knowingness that that is who and what you are.
Yeah, it's amazing. This knowledge, it opens your mind, basically.
Well, we're not talking about to open the mind. We're only telling you to know who you are. That goes beyond the mind. See, when the mind is open, what happens? You actually start leaving the mind and you come into the infinite. It is infinite, Adronis. Yes, now you realize it.
Well, I have a question here. What type of beings inhabit the royal stars of Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, and Fomalhaut?
Well, you're talking about multitudes of different beings that we really could not get into today. But there are those that are what you would know as human or humanoid through the stars that you have mentioned.
All right.
But you're looking at many different civilizations, and it would take quite a bit of time to go into them intricately. But you could look into the idea of those that are canine, those that are feline, those that are aquatic, those that are reptilian, those that are plasmic in that way. Some of these also represent different beings that exist more so within the inner rings pertaining to the star systems of the stars that you speak of. But again, you're also looking at dimensions, and there's other beings in other dimensions as well too. And so again, it's like looking at grains of sand and trying to name every single one.
Mhm. Mhm. And I was going to ask you, what type of beings inhabit the Southern Cross?
The Southern Cross of what?
Hmm?
The Southern Cross of what?
The Southern Cross, I mean the Crux, the constellation called Crux.
Are you referring to another constellation?
Yes, yes,
All right.
the constellation of, I don't,
Well,
yes,
again, this is still going back to the same answer we're giving you. Do you think that there's only one species in one star system?
no,
No. So that's what we're trying to tell you here. You are looking at a flourishing of different diversity of beings. Again, all coming back into the one. But if we're looking at it in a mindset, it's looking at a different variety of beings. As we've told you, many of these beings in that sense have identities that we can't even explain to you through words, because their form and nature of how they exist is not familiar to you.
Mhm.
It would be very much in the idea of like us trying to explain a color to a person who has never been able to see.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, it's not to say that there aren't other ones that you can be familiar with, whether it's human, whether it's feline, whether it's canine, whether it's plasmic, whether it's aquatic, whether it's reptilian. Yes, there are those as well too. In fact, reptilians also take up a great majority of the population throughout this galaxy alone.
Mhm.
The most popular beings are what we refer to as the 6 root races: humans, reptilians, insectoids, aquatics, mammalians, and of course, yourselves as humans.
Mhm. And the last question about the symbol you gave me last time, the satat. What would be the right color?
Or shall we say the 6th race being avians, not humans.
Avians. All right.
Yes, bird people.
About this, the symbol you gave me last time, the satat. What would be the right background color to visualize it?
That's something you have to decide for yourself. We have only given you a blueprint. It's up to you to decide how to use it. Did you not remember that we told you about a certain color frequency before?
Yes, yes.
So
that
why
one.
are you asking about a color when you've already received that information?
All right. Yes, because I don't know.
You
Maybe-
don't trust yourself. You're looking for externals to try and justify that something is real, because you don't validate that anything's real through yourself. You need an authority. That's your issue.
Mhm.
And you need to heal that, because you are more than enough of your own authority. You
Mhm.
see, we've been talking to you for quite some time, Val, and you doubt yourself heavily.
Mhm.
And that's something you need to worry about. Rather than going, it's saying that, yes, this is true. This is something that I'm doing because I don't trust myself. Everybody else has the right answers. I don't. So that all comes down to sabotage of the self. That's self-abuse, Val. Some point in your life, you have decided not to trust yourself because someone looked down on you.
Yeah.
And that's why
Certainly.
you feel like you cannot look eye to eye with others. You're always looking up.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So you need to go back into your past to find out who hurt you to think that you are incompetent or ignorant, because that's how you see yourself. And you
Yes.
need to heal that and surrender to it. Let it go to realize you are the infinite, as we told you. You say that you're perfect, but we tell you from the way that you think about yourself, you're not.
I gotta
You
work
are
on that.
perfection, but you do not know that perfection. When
Yeah.
we tell you that we are perfect, we know our perfection. You don't.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you can, because you are perfect. You just don't think you are. You say these things basically trying to appease us, but we're not here to be appeased. We see into you, Val. Please be honest with us, because we know when you're not honest.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Right? So we want you to go back into that younger point of your life where you felt you were talked down to, where you felt that you were belittled and feeling that your value did not matter. And that's what you need to heal. That comes through surrendering, like what Brad has taught you through the student program. Yes?
Yes, yeah.
That's what you need to keep doing this, not for entertainment reasons. That's to help you liberate yourself to know that you have always been the infinite and that you have always been perfect. All right?
All right.
We thank you for your question. We must move on.
Thank you, Adronis.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Val. We move on now to Demetra. Demetra, once again, I'm going to allow you to speak. Just go ahead and unmute your mic and begin speaking when ready. Thank you.
I have a question.
Hello,
Should
Demetra.
hi. Should I start my apprenticeship of healing others by using white ball technique or BCR technique on my clients that have dementia?
What do you think?
Could I do that? Is that possible?
Why wouldn't it be possible?
I don't know. I knew you were gonna say, oh, you can do whatever you want to do, but
No, we're
I
not
just
saying
don't
you
know.
can do whatever you want to do. We're saying, do you feel that you can do this? Do you feel that you can make it happen?
Yeah, I feel like I should try.
Yes. So there's nothing really stopping you than your own permission slips. Do you see how you are also being the antagonist to you being the protagonist?
Yes.
You antagonize yourself because, again, like Val, you're looking for some type of authority to say, is this the right path? When we're telling you, again, it's all about what you feel. The experiences need to speak for themselves. So if you start using BCR technique and prana transmission technique and release ball technique and all of these different forms of techniques that you feel has helped you tremendously, you're going to be the authority for those practices because you have the experience that has warranted betterment for yourself. And that's all it really requires. If you know that this has worked for you, you will help to make it work for others because you've been an authority of your own experience to make yourself well.
Okay. Thank
And it's
you.
just as simple as that. You see, it really doesn't matter what technique you do. You could, for example, say, Adronis, I'm learning Reiki, all right? And how's Reiki been for you? It's been wonderful. I've been able to heal my throat. I've been able to heal my back. I've been able to feel much better with that. Well, then there you go. You're being an authority because the experience that you're going through yourself grants that. So what is granted to you through the experience that brings about the benefit is you being an authority of that experience. And now as an authority of that experience, utilize that to your heart's desire.
Okay.
That's all it comes down to. It's not
Yeah.
about waving a magic wand. It's that you know that that wand that you're waving has power.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Demetra. We're going to go now to some of the final written questions as we are coming up on our time in about 15 to 17 minutes. This one is from Patricia. Patricia asks, hello, Adronis. Could you please talk more about the sun activity and pole shifts and how this not only affects our physical earth, but also our DNA? And how will we be more living in multidimensionality? Thank you.
Well, you already are living multidimensionally. You're just not aware of that. You see, all of you exist in everything at the same time. Because again, that's the nature of your own vehicle. But because you have been indoctrinated into these beliefs of thinking that you're a linear run, that again, you only have these aspects of physicality and solidity to yourselves, you have convinced yourself that you think that that's not possible. So all of you are everything, everyone, all that is. You see, that again is still just looking at an existence principle. You are God, you are omniscient, you are omnipotent, you are omnipresent. That again is just the truth. That's the nature of who you are. But because you don't think that way, that's why you feel that while I'm in this linear-based reality, I have all this physicality, I have all this solidity, everything's material, everything's day and night. And that's what you've convinced yourself since birth. Everything's day and night, everything's solid, everything's physical. Rather, if you are living your life to know that you are able to access every single form of domain of dimension that exists, you would. Why do you think your ancient masters have been able to do this? Why do you think yogis have been able to do this? Sages have been able to do this. Great teachers have been able to do this. What's more special with them? Because they committed to knowing that this is who and what they are. We're telling you how to be gods again. Many of you just don't accept that because you're trying to put the logical brush and brush everything here and say, okay, well, John's trying to explain to me logically. We can't, because what you're considering to be logic is the very thing that's keeping a post upon this whole thing, that's barricading you from moving into realizing who and what you are. You're trying to rationalize through the very language that is keeping you confined. You're trying to get out of a prison by still being in a prison. That's the best way we can put it. The language that you use, how you think, how you condition yourself, prison, prison, prison. And you're trying to use prisons to get out of a prison. It can't work that way. Whereas we're saying when you learn to feel, when you learn to have clarity, when you learn to evolve and expand yourself and move back into the true nature of what you are, that which is bliss and happiness, you will know the godliness that you are. But again, you're trying to negotiate out of prison by bringing prison-based understandings into everything. Cannot get out of a prison by still being in a prison. You see? That's why so many of you are confused. You're using the very language that imprisons you. You're using the very concepts that limit you. You are using the very premises that restrict you to try and understand the infinite. Can't be done. You need to learn to throw all of that away, and you will know who and what you are. But we cannot tell you with these words. You have to guess the idea of the tips and tidbits and breadcrumbs that we're laying out for you to follow the path to knowing who and what you are. Now, as far as you'd say your sun activity goes, as far as you say your magnetic field goes, it's not so much in the idea of what you believe it is. Many of you still don't even know what the sun is. Because again, you look at your science and you think, oh, well, there's going to be some gigantic solar flare that's going to hit the earth and we're all going to be toast. The sun has never done that. Have you ever in your life seen a ball of flame coming from the sun that is hitting your atmosphere and seeing those flames coming upon the sky? Have you ever seen that? Have any of you ever seen that? Not one of you has seen that. So why do you think that's what's happening? You've never seen that. You have never seen the sun as a ball of fire throwing this heap of flame towards the planet, because if that was happening, you'd see your atmosphere getting burned up. That's never happened. Because you don't know what the sun is. The sun itself is not a flaming ball of fire. You see, it's a magnet. That's what it is. It's a magnet. Your planet is a magnet. The sun represents a prime magnet. It's like a living well of magnetism. And it is what is bringing the nurturing energies, the nurturing care towards this entire star system. It's not here to burn you up. It's not here to extinguish life on the planet. It's never done that since the entire existence of the earth. Why do you think it would do it now? This is what we call human ignorance, because you don't even know what the sun is. You do not know that it's a living magnet. You do not know that it's a living well of life that is helping to preserve and nurture its children that you would understand as your own interplanetary system. You have to realize that everything that the sun is cultivating, is maintaining life upon this planet and on others throughout its entire star system, throughout its body. It's the core. It's like the core of you. Does the core of you burn up your organs when it is working with its own prana? Do you see your heart getting scorched by the solar plexus in your body? Because that's basically what we would call the sun of yourself. Has it ever burned up your heart? Has it ever burned up your lungs? Has it ever burned up your intestines, your whole body? No. So why do you think that very sun that you look at the sky is going to do that to you? It's ignorance. And that is not what the sun is here to do. The sun is your provider of life. He's not here to blow you all away, to scorch you up until there's nothing that is left, until you all fall to ashes. That's never happened on the earth ever. So why do you think it would happen now? You see, this is again what needs to be realized. Your sun is the living well. Your sun is the living magnet. It's what's holding everything together. It's what's nurturing life. It is that bright, beautiful light that is shining upon the atmosphere. Like a type of sonoluminescence, its radiation does that. It's what gives life to all planets. And it is through the ether of your atmosphere that again is perturbated through that frequency, through those vibrations, to create the lighting and heating effect on your world. And it's because of the sun that that's done. He's never, ever harmed the earth. He's never, ever harmed any of the planets throughout this entire star system. Your science believes that the sun does that because they're ignorant. And they do not know how the sun actually works. So, with the shifting of the magnetic poles, this all has to do with the oscillation of magnetism, to which the sun is helping to provide. So yes, there will always be shifts in certain forms, certain levels pertaining to the magnetic equilibrium of your planet, because that is again how she's changing her mood, how she's shifting, how she's doing her inner work. And through her inner work is the shifting of her magnetic field. Through your inner work is the shifting of your own magnetic field, as above, so below. So it is always shifting. It is always transforming. It is going to move into the idea of the flipping of the poles, but that is not going to lead to the loss of life. That's going to lead to its expansion, not its loss. All right? That is something we want to share very deeply and very seriously with you. Please take into consideration what we have said about your planet and about your sun. All right? Thank you. Moving on.
Thank you for that. That was amazing, Adronis. Thank you so much. We move on now to Justin, who asks, do past lives on this planet give a significant importance to world events over the new arrivals into the Earth experience? For example, are there keys to the Earth's energy grid that can be obtained from a previous incarnation that can be used in current life? How would one go about in discovering that truth within oneself?
You see, you're still looking into acquisition rather than realizing that everything is inside you right now. It's you getting out of your own way, to which is bestowed upon you everything that you need to know. It is not about you going in through some sort of outward journey, going through the veils of the earth, trying to unlock these keys. It is the very ignorance that you hold that is the veil that's preventing you from realizing that anything pertaining to that knowledge can actually be of a benefit to you. It is not about past lives. There's only one life. Now, we know you're talking about incarnation, all right? Incarnation is nothing more than the waves of the ocean. So there's a little trickle here, and then there's another trickle here, and then there's another trickle here, and then 1,000 trickles later, the wave starts to get a little bit bigger. And as the wave gets a little bit bigger, it starts to get stronger. As it gets a little stronger, it's because you're learning to remember a lot of the things about yourself. As you remember a lot of the things about yourself, you're realizing the infinite nature of yourself, to which you realize you are God, and now you are the whole ocean. That's what the nature of incarnation is doing. Incarnation is not past, it is not future, it is simultaneous. It is simultaneous incarnation, because you've never experienced a past, you've never experienced a future. It has always been simultaneous, synchronous, all here, right now. It is like stepping into a honeycomb with the door closed and now looking at these infinite cells that are upon the wall. And every single cell with an image that pops up is you. Every single cell has an image on it, and you're all of these images. And you can scroll and you can go up and down and left and right and zoom in and zoom out. And there's just more and more and more and more. But what is it that you're looking at? You're looking at everything that represents yourself now. We know you're confused by this. And no matter how many times we keep saying, stop thinking of the past, stop thinking of the future, because all you're looking at is thought and imagination and nothing else. You continue to do it because you have made it incapable through yourself to realize that you are all, that you are everyone, that you are everything, that you are all that is, and that the mind does not in any way identify with you. It's not even a shard of yourself, because to say that something's a shard of you or a fragment of you is to indicate that you're finite when you're not. You are God. We mean that literally, but you still don't get it because of the heavy conditioning you place upon yourselves all the time. And none of you really willing to break out of that. You feel okay with things that are causing you to suffer. And we would ask you, why do you do that? Because you have very little faith in yourself. You need somebody else to do this for you. You need somebody else to come into your life and feel like they are the authority so that you can therefore bow down. And that is Slave Program 101. You're constantly doing it. It's in a guru. It's in a politician. It's in a world leader. It's in a member of the family. It's in a partner. It's in a best friend. It's in a coworker. It's in a boss. When is it ever in you? Where's the authority in here? Well, that is what you need to know for you to access everything. It is not about the idea of you going into some big dramatic movie of a journey to feel like you need to step into the magnetic field of the earth with a big fancy key and plug it into the hole and turn the key. What we're telling you is that as you learn to go into yourself and know that you are God, everything is revealed to you. Everything upon your asking is given to you because you have touched God again. You've touched the God that is you. Once you touch God, it never leaves you. Once you know that you are God, everything is available to you. Nothing is no longer secret anymore. There's no more clandestinity. It's all clear. It's as clear as crystal. And that's where you need to readjust yourselves to think that me going out here and going on some type of journey and going to some type of mountaintop and meeting some type of initiate is going to help me to get more of an understanding of the nature of all of my incarnations, to help me understand that I am God. All of that is unnecessary. It's all in here. It does not matter if you have a guru. Some of you have a guru, and that's fine. Some of you have a teacher, and that's fine. But you have to understand that your guru, your teacher, is basically just pointing back at you, saying that you have the answer to everything. And you're trying to look to them. Give me the answer, teacher. Give me the answer, my guru. And they point back at you. You're the answer. But you're in your own way. And that's what's preventing you from expanding. That's what's preventing you from knowing all. It's through you. See, that's what the slave program does. It has fail safes. If you try to get out of the slave program, it's going to cause you to move into greater doubts of yourself, to think that somebody else needs to come forward to get you out of your own rut. That is a defense mechanism of the slave program 101 that is imbued into every human being on this planet. If you try to get out of the slave program, there's fail safes. And those fail safes will say, nope, guess what, Joe? You can't do it yourself. You need a guru. You can't do it yourself. There needs to be some sort of other authority. Don't trust yourself. You know you're not good enough. You know you're not going to be able to do this. So these fail safes start firing up. And until you actually start to surrender to everything that represents the taste of that slave program, are you not going to be free? No, you're not. Because you're still holding on to the slivers of that slave program. It has fail safes. It is a very intricate artificial system of programming, of frequencies, of vibrations, of interlocking energy. It's like shackles. This person wants to free themselves, but there's still more of these things that are coming up because they're still involving themselves in some shape, way, or form relating to the slave program that they're trying to get out. And the only way they can get free of this is when they are learning to move into surrender completely. And if you don't do that, the shackle will pull you back in again. Because you think you need an authority. You think you need somebody else. There's got to be somebody else who has these answers for me, Adronis. Somebody else can do this for me. And we keep telling you, no, no, no. It's you. But then again, the slave program by the chains keeps trying to wheel you back in and put you back on the hamster wheel again. Because you give up on yourselves. And you do not follow the most simplest thing that you need to do to completely cut away the slave program chains for good. Surrender. That's the only way, dear humans. It's the only way. There is no other way to liberate yourself from a slave program other than to surrender and cut everything away and release it entirely so that you know that everything that you are is through you. That's why we say everything is you. There is only the one. There's not many. There's not others. There isn't even really an all. There's just you. Please take to what we are saying here seriously, because this is the only reason why you're holding yourselves back. You look for somebody else, and that is your fault. And you need to realize that. Say that I'm going to heal myself because this means the world to me, for me to be free, for me to know that I am God. It is my way back into knowing myself. All right. Thank you for your question.
Would you like to do one more, Adronis, or would you like
We will do one more. Yes, we can do one more text and one more audio.
Perfect. For the text, we're going to bring it over to Leilani. Leilani says, hi. For the past 2 years or so, I've experienced something that is very odd for me, and I am wondering if you could help me understand its purpose. As soon as I am in a relaxed state, regardless if I am actually meditating or not, my hands and sometimes other parts of my body would spontaneously begin to move. Lately, I am also feeling jolts of energy moving through my body at the same time, which is pretty intense at times. Thank you.
This is what you would call a Kundalini awakening. The Kundalini awakening that's taking place is actually working with your body so that the intelligence of the Kundalini is actually moving by itself through you. It works together with your nervous system. It works together with your motor functions. And this is all part of the process of you having an expansive Kundalini awakening without your knowing. So therefore, when you realize that your limbs may be flailing, that you may start to stand up, that you may start to move, that you may start to grab a hold of something, and you know that your hands are moving, but it's not your own, as you would say, vital energy that's working with that. This all has to do with spontaneous Kundalini awakening and spontaneous Kundalini motor functions to which you are going through. All right.
Thank you, Adronis. We move now to our final speaking question. We go now to Helen. Helen, I'm going to allow you to speak. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and begin speaking when you are ready. Thank you.
Hello, Adronis. Thank you for your incredible incredible day today. My question was on chakras. I've listened to Brad with chakras, and I was wondering about chakras, the front and the back chakras at one time.
There is no front and the back chakra. They all represent the one.
Okay.
So you're looking at vortices that represent the front entrance and the back entrance. They look very much like what you would know as hourglasses in shape. It is all representing in totality the nature of the torus field. So when you're looking at the chakra, that is again the null point. When you're looking in the idea of the interior from the front and the exterior from the back, these would form similar to what you would know as cones or hyperboloids in that way, hourglass forms. But there is no such thing as a chakra in the front and a chakra in the back. They all align to the spine region.
In the alignment to the spine region, could you speak to the spleen? It feels like there is a chakra at the spleen level that is unique.
It is not a chakra, but what you would term as an energy center.
And its relation to the spine and the chakras in the central of the body is?
Well, again, it's interfacing with what you would know as the brains connected to the spine itself. So spleen, in that sense, does not represent that of an idea of a chakra, but it represents that in that sense, an important center that's, again, working together with your lymphatic system, but it also communicates with, as you would know, the ganglia, or again, certain degrees of other brain-like systems that are contained in your body. There are certain areas within your body that contain ganglia. And this ganglia, again, contains certain forms of transformative information to enable your body to function, often in sympathetic, parasympathetic, or again, enteric qualities. So therefore, the idea of the spleen is helping in regards to its regulation and governance, pertaining to, again, the flow of the lymphatic system appropriately, that again is working together in the nerve centers of the spine. So again, you could say it correlates together with certain chakras, but it is not by definition a chakra itself.
In listening also to some of Brad's work, there's clearing of organs. I don't see so much Brad is talking about clearing of glands. Is there a reason for that?
No, there is clearing of glands as well. Everything in the body itself will be cleaned because glands represent nexus centers as well too that are of importance. Just like you would understand that your pituitary gland is necessary for hormonal functions, that your thyroid is important for cellular production. So these are, again, all important degrees within your body, aspects and systems that are in your body that require cleaning as well.
And when
Brad has very much stated the idea of working with organs and glands and bodily systems thoroughly.
Oh, thank you. And in clearing chakras, Brad usually clears them counterclockwise. Is there a reason for that?
The direction itself is not too important. It's more so looking at the idea that when you're actually communicating with the chakra itself, when you're in union with it and you are coherent with it, is actually enabling you the direction to turn, because that is what enables the idea of the clearing itself to function appropriately. It's also working together with the appropriate bands of energy that are coming through, to which there may be counterclockwise, or in that sense, centripetal, or clockwise, or centrifugal nature of energy to come through that justifies and therefore warrants the type of appropriate energies that's coming through to assist in the expulsion of certain energies that the chakra itself has picked up that no longer warrants its need for it to have.
I am so inspired. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We will conclude at this time. We thank all of you for your questions and participation in this interaction today. We thank Killian as well too for his moderation. I am Adronis of Sirius. Please remember to take everything that we have shared today to heart, because what we have shared for you is very, very important for your development. Please reflect on it continuously. We thank you once again. Goodbye for now. Okay, great. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. So we went a few minutes over, but that's okay. Killian, thanks again for a great moderation today. Thank you, everybody here on Zoom. Thank you, everybody on YouTube for tuning in. We'll be back in again another 2 weeks' time, where there will be another transmissions from Adronis. Hope you have enjoyed it all today. Thanks again. Blessings to you all. Namaskar, and may be well with you. Goodbye for now.